Before we dive into these bone-chilling true stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more horrifying tales that blur the line between reality and the supernatural. Now, let's step into the darkness together. The Ghost in Room 428. Jason, a college freshman, moved into his dorm room at Ohio University, excited to start a new chapter. But his room, 428, came with whispered warnings of ghostly encounters. He brushed it off as campus folklore until it started happening to him. For the first few nights, everything seemed fine. But then Jason began waking up at exactly 3:03 a.m. every night to the sound of faint knocking on his window. Odd, considering he was on the 4th floor. One night, determined to catch whoever was pranking him, he stayed awake. As the clock struck 3:03, the temperature in his room plummeted and the knocking grew louder. Gathering his courage, Jason pulled back the curtain. Nothing but the empty night greeted him. But when he turned around, his heart nearly stopped. In the far corner of the room stood a tall, shadowy figure, its head tilted unnaturally, staring at him. Jason bolted for the door, but it slammed shut on its own. Screaming, he finally managed to escape. The next day, he learned the room had a history of hauntings and had even been sealed off years earlier. Jason moved out immediately. Room 428 remains permanently locked to this day. The unseen passenger. Clara was driving home late one night after a long shift at her job in San Antonio, Texas. The road was desolate and the only sound was the hum of her engine. But at a red light, she glanced into her rearview mirror and froze. A man sat in her back seat, his hollow eyes staring directly at her. Panicking, Clara whipped her head around, but the seat was empty. Shaking it off as exhaustion, she continued driving until she saw him again, clearer this time. He wore a tattered gray suit and didn't blink. She sped to the nearest gas station and leapt out of the car. The attendant helped her search the vehicle, but they found nothing. Over the following weeks, Clara had recurring nightmares about the man. One day, a co-worker told her about a local legend of a man who died in a car crash on that stretch of road. He was said to haunt lone drivers looking for a ride home. Clara never drove alone at night again, but even now, she swears she feels his eyes on her in her dreams. The whispering basement Mark and his family moved into a Victorian house in upstate New York. From the beginning, his daughters refused to go near the basement, saying it felt wrong. Mark laughed it off until the whispers began. One night, Mark went downstairs to grab a toolbox. As he reached the bottom of the stairs, he heard faint murmurs. The air grew colder, and the whispers grew louder, as if surrounding him. "Leave," a voice hissed. The lights flickered, and Mark turned to flee. But at the top of the stairs stood a shadowy figure, a woman with long hair obscuring her face. The family began waking up to the same apparition at the foot of their beds. Mark's wife revealed that the previous owner had died mysteriously in the basement. They moved out within months, but the house remains vacant, its whispers now part of the neighborhood's chilling lore. These true stories remind us that some things are better left unexplored. If these tales sent chills down your spine, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more terrifying true accounts. Who knows? The next story might be about you. Stay curious, but stay safe.